Welcome to Townsfolk Tussle, and we have an actual live, well not live, in real life Let's Play, I guess, rather than it being on Tabletop Simulator. This is going to be the first game I have recorded. Well, first game, sort of. I did actually try recording a gameplay of this earlier, right after the unboxing actually, but I wasn't super happy with some of the way it was recorded and stuff like that, so I didn't finish it at all. However, I did fix the microphone issue that I had from the unboxing, so again, I apologize for the quality of the audio for the unboxing, but hopefully it all sounds at least much more bearable now. And this is going to be a learning process. This is like sort of the first time I've done something like this, recording live board game Let's Plays before. I'm much more familiar with it, recording video game content, as you're probably aware of. So we're just gonna dive right in. I'm super excited. I actually did play a whole run of this with my friends over the weekend. It was our very first time playing the game. My friends loved it, and we're looking forward to getting another person to make a full group of 5. We actually did unlock the special objective as well. So I will say I will be playing with some slight spoilerish stuff. If you want to have the sort of full blind experience and not know anything going into this game, if you have your own copy on the way or something like that, I just forewarned I did unlock an alternative starting gear for one of our characters we're going to be using today. So just a heads up, and that is going to be Quintus Binch over here. You probably can't read it on the cards and stuff like that. You probably can't read what it is, his gear is, his alternative starting gear, but I will be describing everything. Also, big shout outs to Panicroll. They're actually going to be letting me use some high quality scans and pictures of the cards and everything like that. So when I'm talking about them, I can just throw them up on the screen because obviously I don't have a 4K camera. I don't have the greatest way to just showcase all the cards as I'm talking about them without sort of making a bunch of different cuts to, you know, other stuff that I've recorded after the fact. And I sort of want to keep the pace up fairly well. So that's sort of my game plan. If you are unfamiliar with how the game plays out and you want to know the rules and stuff like that, I will be mostly just talking about my thought process and what I'm trying to decide on. I'm not going to be going super into depth on exactly how to play the game or the rules and stuff like that. I'll talk about the basic structure, but definitely check out my Tabletop Simulator Introduction to Townsfolk Tussle if you want to actually learn how to play the game, because I go through step by step exactly what you're supposed to be doing for each phase and sort of how to get things going. So we're just going to dive right into it. I'll describe exactly how I've set up the starting characters and why I've chosen them. So on our left, we have Quintus Binch over here, my favorite character actually to play. He's a great all-rounder. Starts with very good stats overall, and his alternative starting gear is the Mugger's Bat, which essentially lets him get hits in and gets coins placed on it, and then we can actually discard the weapon to receive those coins. So it's a little bit of an investment. It's a little bit harder to hit with and it costs more than his Rubber Bat, which is his original starting gear, but it is a pretty cool weapon, and I'm looking forward to using it. Bloody Badge is his alternative accessory. Stolen Candy is his original accessory, where it lets him teleport anywhere on the map one time as a consumable. This is a permanent accessory. However, whenever you use your Trickster ability, which is his 2 Moxie ability that allows him to swap positions with townsfolk on the board, you immediately deal 1 damage to all characters around you after swapping. So it's a really interesting way to get guaranteed damage. If another townsfolk is adjacent by the ruffian, you can just swap places with them, do a guaranteed damage. Super cool. I think it's a much better alternative accessory than his original starting gear. Then we have Granny Melba, who's the ranged sharpshooter, essentially the ranged damage dealer. We have, of course, the Rudy Tutor and the Granny's Cane for her. I don't think I've actually ever played with Granny. I've had friends play her in some of my runs, but I sort of wanted to try her out for myself. And then last but not least, we have Georgie Irongut, which I'm actually really looking forward to playing because I didn't actually get to play with him. I actually didn't choose him for when I played with my friends. And yeah, he is he's the character that I actually didn't have a chance to play with in the Tabletop Simulator demo because he was not available there. But he has the Dad's Head Hammer, which is a really strong hitting weapon with a 2 damage starting weapon. Is always nice to see. He also starts with 4 Moxie, which I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out. But his consumable is the Stale Cake, which allows him to heal 1 HP. However, he has a special ability called Leftovers, which consumables you consume don't have to be discarded, but they can only be used once per fight. So he pretty much has a permanent 1 heal per fight starting off, which is super cool, which is good because he is one of the squishier characters starting at 3 health. We've given them their starting 10 coins that you do at the first town phase. Additionally, I have gotten all the feats of metal handed out also. For Quintus Binch, we have Cocky Marksman, Tinkerer, Sturdy and Simple. For Granny Melba, we have Lucky Aura, Careful Planning, and Masochist. And Georgie Iron Gut, we have Like an Ox, Altruistic Do-Gooder, and Unshakable. So again, just to save time, I won't be speaking about every single card word by word. I'll probably do most of the things, but for anything I don't, of course, I'll just be throwing up cards on the screen as I talk about them. So now that we have all the characters all ready to go, we're going to randomize our boss turn order. So we're gonna just grab 1 for the Chump level, 2 for the Hooligan, 3 for the Troublemaker, and 4 for the final fight. And we'll keep these face down and place those off to the side. Right there, alrighty. I've also already got my turn order set up. And I have Quintus Binch being first in the beaten order and Granny Melba's first in the buying order. So now that that is all said and done, we are gonna go to the town events phase. Now I actually have the deck still from when my friends and I played, so I actually haven't taken out the secret events. Normally when you do play with either by yourself or with just one other person, you are meant to take out the secret cards. But if I draw one, I'll just discard it and draw a new one. So we resolve the town events in the buying order. So Granny Melba is gonna resolve the first one, and Granny Melba gets a Royal Retreat. Have not seen this one before. Your group sees some wealthy townsfolk making a break for it in a horse-drawn carriage. Ooh. Blopsy twins are not in the group. You collect some falling coins from the carriage's trail, gain 3 coins. Unfortunate. I mean, it's not the worst thing. We get 3 extra coins to start with, and that's always good. However, if we did have Blopsy twins in the group, we would have actually got the Fans Hanky unique gear. I don't know what that is, but at least it wasn't something bad. As long as the town event is not something bad that happens to you, you're usually in a pretty good spot. All right, next up is Georgie Iron Gut. That is a secret, so we'll put it off to the side. Calm and Calculated. Oh, this is pretty funny. I like the picture on it. It's actually the "This is fine" meme. Additionally, it's very convenient because this is actually, it's Georgie Iron Gut in the picture and he's the one drawing it. Considering your world is both physically and mentally burning down around you, you're managing to stay quite composed. You decide to survey the landscape ahead to take your mind off things. Keep this card in front of you for the next fight. Add +2 to your terrain rolls. That is very, very good. I don't think we have any, we don't have any feats of metal that interact with terrain. However, that's still good if we have some good pieces of terrain. Excellent. So far, so good. And last but not least, we have Quintus Binch. Quintus Binch has Hang High. You see a dead townsfolk hanging from a flagpole. That's a nice hat he's wearing. Henlo Bulwark is in group or not in group. Unfortunately, Henlo Bulwark is not in the group. The hat is out of reach. Shucks. If we did have Henlo in our group, we would have gotten the Farmer's Sun Hat unique gear. My friends and I actually drew that one, but we, again, did not have Henlo in our group. So overall, perfectly fine. Neutral or good things happen this town event. That's a great way to start the game. Now we are doing the first town event phase. We are going to be moving to the buying portion of the town phase. Now the town phase Peddler store is a little bit awkward for me to reach. So I'm just going to place things in the middle of the board, but I'm going to keep them in the same positions as if they were on the Peddler store, because there are certain things that can potentially interact with depending on the position of where they are, like town events and stuff like that. So let's draw the first 10 cards and see what we get for the first buying phase. So we have Basic Boots, just a flat +1 Moxie. We have Bag of Marbles, Charm Handbook. That's actually one of the secret gear that I actually unlocked from a previous run. Because so far I've done 4 or 5 runs total, including the Tabletop Simulator version, and I've gotten 3 special objectives completed. So I'm pretty stoked about that progression. Hopefully this run will add another check mark to that. We got the Boot Topper. We have Fiery Stick, the Lion Tamer, Doc Stethoscope, Safety Blanket, and Sure Shot Crossbow. So pretty good spread. We got some weapons, we got some different pieces of gear, some accessories. So overall, not a bad start. Because again, this game is very gear dependent and luck of the draw when it comes to gear. So first things first, Quintus Binch's ability is going to go off. So he's actually, that has the Petty Theft ability, which allows him to take an item worth 5 coins or less from the shop before anyone actually starts buying. Now, unfortunately, there is only one item, the Bag of Marbles, that lets, that he can actually take. Which is, yeah, the Bag of Marbles, might as well. It's an accessory, it only costs 2 coins. It's 1 Moxie, you can discard it, and a ruffian within 3 squares has 0 movement during their next action. So, I mean, we can just nullify their turn for potentially, depending on what we do. Plus, it's just an extra item that if we need to discard something, that is available for us. So again, just to save time, just like my tabletop simulator run, I'm going to make a little cut here, and I'll do the buying phase off camera, and then when we come back, I'll talk about what I purchased and why. All right, we are back. We are done buying our items. So first off, yeah, Quintus got the bag of marbles for free. As for Georgie ended up buying the basic boots, which gives him +1 moxie. The reason for that is because this allows him to have a little bit more flexibility with his turns. Because the Dad's Head Hammer costs 3 moxie and his quick trotter ability costs 2 moxie, I figured the extra moxie would be nice to be at 5 total. So that means we could use our quick trotter ability and still attack with our Dad's Head Hammer if we need to. For Granny Melba, there was a really nice one-handed ranged weapon, which is going to be nice for our off turns when the Rudy Tutor actually is reloading, because the guns in this game can only shoot every other turn because you have to reload. So it's just nice to have an extra ranged weapon to utilize with. Plus, it's really low accuracy with only a 1 plus to actually hit with it. Ignoring ones, of course, because ones are always misses regardless of your accuracy bonus. So that's really nice for her to have. And then for Quintus Binge, I ended up getting the boot topper to give us +2 movement, so he's just even more mobile than he already is, so we get 7 movement with him. And that's really nice just to maneuver around the map, and if we need to, we can move really far away and use our trickster ability to swap positions with people that might be in a little bit danger, and we can swap positions with them to tank a little bit of damage. So there were some pretty good items here. I mean, I was considering like the exploding cigar, because that can be relevant in some fights. Stock stethoscope is always useful, but not really in the first fight. You don't really need it too much. And then Charmed Handbook was also a consideration. So we'll actually put that, and that'll be the bottom of the deck there. All right, and that is going to be it. So I'm going to flip over to the fight side of the board here, and then we're going to get ready and see who we're fighting. So our very first fight, now that we're ending the town phase, no one has anything that's relevant to ending the town phase except for Georgie. If you ended the town phase with at least 5 max HP, you'd get this feat, but unfortunately there was no items that actually boosted our HP there. So let us see who are fighting for the first chump level fight. Umbrello. That one's not too bad. Umbrello's a reasonably easy fight for the first fight. He does get quite more difficult, especially on Troublemaker. Troublemaker and Hooligan are actually fairly difficult, but that's all right. Umbrello for the chump level, perfectly fine. So I'm gonna just make a cut here. We'll of course set the fight up, and then we'll just get right into it. All right, we are all set up and ready to go. So again, we are on the chump level. We have 3 townsfolk, so Umbrello is starting at 14 health and 6 movement. We've got all the trains set up for terrain. We have the Murky Moat, the Dynamite, and Detonator, which can be extremely useful on this fight. Wishing Well, Deserted Picnic, Buzzing Hive, Town Pond, and Big Barrel. So yeah, I actually also realized it wasn't until yesterday when I played with my friends. The Murky Mode actually had some changes from when it was on the Tabletop Simulator demo, because on the Tabletop Simulator demo, I don't believe there was any way to interact with the Murky Mode, but you can actually now, you can stand on the bridge and pull the plug, so you can actually turn it into the dangerous ditch, which is pretty cool. So maybe we'll have to come across that, who knows, but honestly, the Umbrello fight's not too bad. We, of course, for this strategy, I have fought him before, so I do know that the Town Pond is what he likes to interact with. Generally, you don't want to be around there. He has some cards that have an AoE ability around there. He does also like to sometimes head towards the Wishing Well, which is sort of when we can potentially catch him with that Dynamite and pull the Plunger here to blow him up for 3 damage. But our game plan is to pretty much just try to burst him down. We actually don't have too bad of damage. Having 2 people with 2 damage weapons is really good for the first fight. So let's just dive into it. Of course, I've given the deck a shuffle. We already have our turn order set up, and of course, the Ruffian gets to go first, so Umbrello gets to go. We have Aerial Drop-Off. Umbrello hooks onto your belt loop and hoists you into the air. You're going on a trip. Closest townsfolk with leg gear equipped. Unfortunately, Georgie is the only one with leg gear equipped. Move towards the target. If it reaches them, trigger the after effect. It does indeed. After effect, place the target in the top left corner of the board and deal 1 damage. Place Umbrello adjacent to the target. That is not good. Let us put him there. And Georgie takes a damage. That is rough. That is rough. All right, well, goodbye, Georgie. Georgie's out of there. Well, that is the first turn, so we are going to move on to the first in the beaten order. For us is Quintus Binge. So, well, I guess Quintus Binge is going to spend 2 Moxie, and he is going to swap positions with Georgie. which means our bloody badge actually triggers. We also help Georgie get out of there because we actually have a fair amount of movement. So because we just used our trickster ability for 2 moxie, that uses all of our moxie, but it's okay. It's the bloody badge trigger, so when you activate your trickster ability, you deal 1 damage to all characters adjacent to you after swapping. So we get a free damage there. Well, not free, but we get a guaranteed damage, which is nice. Now, it does cost 1 moxie to interact with a deserted picnic, and unfortunately, we don't have any more moxie left. So we're just gonna move, I think. We could also just stay there. Actually, let's move a little bit. We don't want to be too close to the town's pond, just in case Umbrello pulls something for that. Yeah, or I could potentially move and draw Umbrello towards the dynamite potentially, because we do have 7 movement. Might not be a bad idea. No, let's do that. We need to get to where Granny can shoot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's get as far away as possible. We actually do have enough movement where if we're in a good position enough, we could outrun Umbrello. All right, it's gonna be Georgie Iron Guts' turn. Well, Georgie, so we have 5 moxie. We can move actually potentially 7 movement in total because our quick trotter ability lets us spend 2 moxie and move 4 squares in a straight line. So let's use that. Let's go 4. Let's use our quick trotter ability for 2 moxie and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then because we have 4 movement still, I can use the rest of that to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and actually interact with the big barrel. So I'm gonna spend 1 moxie to interact with the big barrel. And hopefully we can get a good bump in stats, because it would be nice to get that extra accuracy, plus we do still need to heal anyways. So we're looking for a 5 or higher, and we do have +2 to our terrain rolls thanks to Calm and Calculated. That's a 4. 4 plus 2 is 6, which actually is going to be a success thanks to that +2. 5 or more is a barrel. It's a barrel full of wine. You chug it down and feel invigorated. You get to heal 1, and all of your other stats go up by 1, which is really, really nice. Now we have 6 moxie in total, and we have 0 accuracy because we start with -1. So the big barrel can no longer be activated, but that is perfectly fine. That was a very, very good use. And because we actually gained an extra movement, we actually do have 1 movement left over. So I will just go. Now let's go here. We can head to the plunger if we need to. All right, it's gonna be Granny Melba's turn. So unfortunately, Granny can't really do anything. She's got 4 movements. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and just start heading towards to back up Quintus potentially. All right, and then it's gonna be Umbrello's turn. Pulling winds. The farthest townsfolk is gonna be Georgie. Winds move around the landscape, moving 10 squares towards Umbrello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if they are, actually, it would probably be 9, 10. If they're adjacent to Umbrello, trigger the after effect. They are not. Luckily, we are very, very far away. Otherwise, we would have taken 2 damage. That's a scary attack right there. All right, that is Umbrello's turn. So it's gonna be Quintus's turn again. So now Quintus could go interact with the deserted picnic if he wants to potentially get an item. One of his feats of metal is also interacting with terrain. However, that would put me right beside Umbrello and the town pond, which is a little dangerous, and I think we might as well try and bait him over to us. So we are gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we can actually stay here. If you are starting your turn adjacent to the buzzing hive, you take 1 damage, but being diagonal does not count as adjacent because you don't move diagonally, or you don't count diagonals in this game as 1 space. So that is gonna be it for Quintus. Unfortunately, Quintus can't really do much else. I mean, we could swap and equip the bag of marbles to potentially use it, but I think I might as well just keep that to have something to maybe discard for a town event or something, because honestly, we don't really need the bag of marbles right now. We have Georgie Iron Gut next. What do we want to do with you? I think we will just go 1, 2, 3. And again, I think we'll try to bait him over here. And we are gonna end our turn there. Not much else we can do. So let us move on to Granny Melba's turn. And Granny, we're gonna get away from the town pond just a little bit, because I do know there's some things that pull you towards the town pond. And if we do have Umbrello moving over here, she has the range to shoot over the moat. So it's gonna be Umbrello's turn next. Water Spout, there's no target. Turn towards the closest townsfolk. Any townsfolk standing in the 2 squares directly in front of Umbrello are blasted by a stream of water. They take 2 damage and are pushed 10 squares towards the town pond, then move towards the farthest townsfolk. Okay, good, he's finally moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. So luckily we haven't really taken any damage overall, and we haven't really damaged him too much, but luckily we haven't taken much damage. All right, that is gonna be it for Umbrello. So next point of damage is gonna be the breaking point. So it is gonna be Quintus Binch's ability, or a turn. I guess we might as well just go and smack Umbrello. Yeah, let's just go smack Umbrello. Let's start to get some damage going. We'll just pop the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because we have 7 movement total. We'll just pop the breaking point if possible and potentially start getting coins from Mugger's Bat. So we're spending our 2 Moxie. We're looking for a 6 or higher. That's a 4, so that's unfortunately gonna be a miss. Unfortunately, Mugger's Bat's pretty tough to hit with. And that's gonna be it for Quintus. So Georgie is gonna be up next. So Georgie can go, it's gonna be risky being by the town pond, but we still have our stale cake to potentially heal off of. So I think what we'll do is we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we'll spend 2 Moxie to use our Quick Trotter ability to go 4 in a straight line. 1, 2, 3. Oh shoot, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to do the opposite. Where was I? I think I was right here. Either way, I would reach the corner here, which is what I wanted. So Quick Trotter ability first to end up here, and then I can go 1, 2, 3 with my movement. Oh, I guess I have 5 movement anyway, so I guess I didn't really need to do that. Either way, let's attack with our Dead's Head Hammer. We have a 0 accuracy now, so we're hitting on a 5 or higher. That's a 7, that's gonna be a successful hit, so that's 2 damage. It does trigger the breaking point, so Umbrello gets an action, and Georgie's turn ends. Endless Rain, no target. All townsfolk within 5 squares of the town pond take 1 damage, move Umbrello towards the farthest townsfolk, and reshuffle the action deck. Okay, 5 squares was a lot. We weren't actually gonna be able to get out of that. So both Georgie and Quintus take a damage, unfortunately. And then he's gonna move into Georgie, which collides with him. We'll push Georgie this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and head towards Granny. So that was Georgie's turn. Georgie's down to 2. We actually might need a, well, I mean, we still have a heal, so that's good. All right, well, it's Granny's turn, so Granny can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're 5 spaces away now. So we can actually attack with our Rudy Tutor. So we're 5 spaces away, and thanks to our Farsighted ability, we get +5 accuracy, which turns our -2, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a +3. So our we need a 3 or higher on the dice to hit with the Rudy Tutor because it has a 6+ requirement. That is a 4. That's gonna be a successful hit, so that's 2 damage. And Rudy Tutor has to reload, but luckily we have the Sure Shot crossbow for next turn. All right, we're gonna hang out there, I think. And that is gonna be it. So it's gonna be back to Umbrello. Spearhead Parasol. Uh-oh. Turn towards the closest townsfolk and move forward. At the end of the movement, if Umbrello collided with any townsfolk, trigger the after effect. So, let's see, how do we want to maneuver? Because we could actually have Georgie get pushed all the way up here, which actually might not be a bad idea. So essentially, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll keep pushing Georgie until we get there, and we'll put Georgie in the space adjacent. So that's as far as Umbrello can move. All townsfolk that collided with Umbrello must roll and add their Moxie. Luckily, Georgie has a 6 Moxie. That's a 9 + 6 is 15, easily make it. 9 or higher, you grabbed at Umbrello as he passed, ripping a piece of his parasol clean off. Umbrello's weakness is now active. Remove this card from the game. And Umbrello's weakness says that, yeah, let's put it right there. Umbrello's weakness says that Umbrello can only cause townsfolk to move up to 1 square each with his actions, which is really, really good. It's not as relevant in the Chump level. Again, Chump level's relatively easy, but on the harder difficulties, especially Troublemaker, you really get pushed towards the town pond quickly. All right, so that is it for Umbrello. Quintus Binch is gonna go. Quintus Binch, now we could have the option of potentially getting a coin on the Mugger's Bat. Alternatively, I could just guarantee the damage by swapping positions with Georgie and activating the Trickster ability with the Bloody Badge. How are we doing? I mean, we're not doing too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Granny's not gonna be able to attack from there, unfortunately. So Granny's gonna essentially not get a turn this point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that, Quintus can't switch with Granny. So, I mean, we probably should start trying to make use out of the Mugger's Bat. So we're gonna go 3 here. We're gonna attack, we're looking for a 6 or higher. That's a 2, definitely not a hit. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's try and pull him back towards Granny if we can. It's gonna be Georgie, Iron Gut's turn next. Georgie is gonna first use his Stale Cake to heal 1 HP. And we can use that for the fight, thanks to our Leftovers ability. We don't have to discard it. And then I think we're just gonna swing. We're gonna trigger the next breaking point potentially. So we're looking for a 5 or higher. That's a 2 again, oof. All right, well, then let's go 1, 2, 3. And then we'll spend our last, or not last 2, but we have 3 Moxie left. So we'll spend 2 Moxie to go use our Quick Trotter ability to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, trying to pull him towards Granny so Granny can take some shots. And I think we're gonna just keep Granny there. Actually, 1, 2, 3. Actually, let's go for Granny's turn. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Because if Umbrello moves up to here to attack Quintus, not only will he get hit by the hive, but he'll actually be in range because it's within 4 squares for the dynamite. We can actually potentially blow him up. So yeah, let's do that. So it's Umbrello's turn next. Umbrello has low clouds, farthest townsfolk. Ooh, Umbrello appears directly overhead, punting your noggin with his waterlogged boot. Place Umbrello adjacent to the target. Oof, and deal 1 damage. Well, there goes my plan. That's unfortunate. All right, it's gonna be Quintus's turn. So Quintus, let's see, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can actually reach Umbrello. We could also try, we do have 2 coins. We could try to go for the Wishing Well. Yeah, let's do that actually, because what we can do is, because it doesn't cost Moxie to use the Wishing Well, it just costs 2 coins, which we do have. So let's roll. We're looking for a 4 to 7 is fine because that heals us. An 8 or higher gets us an item. We get a 7, so that is going to be a heal for us, which is fine. And that the Wishing Well can still be used for someone else. Additionally, it does get my Tinkerer ability, which gives us either a coin or a feat of metal we completed. So we either get a coin or a movement for the fight. We definitely don't need the movement, so we'll just get a little bit of we'll just get a monetary reward for that. And then we still have our 2 Moxie left. So now we can swap positions with Granny, and our Bloody Badge will trigger, which means that we get a guaranteed damage to all characters adjacent to Quintus. All right, so that wasn't a bad turn at all. All right, so we have Georgie. So Georgie is gonna go 1, 2, actually we'll go 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna use 2 Moxie to use our Quick Trotter ability to go 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, and be just in range to hit with our Dad's Head Hammer. Again, looking for a 5 or higher for this. That is a 6. That's gonna be a successful hit. That is gonna do 2 damage and end Georgie's turn as we pass the second last breaking point, which means Umbrello gets an action. Soggy Bottom, closest townsfolk, tie between those 2, so they're gonna roll off and the lowest person gets targeted. So Georgie gets a 5, Quintus gets a 3. So Quintus is gonna be the target. Move towards him. If it reaches him, deal 1 damage. It does indeed, but luckily we did get that heal earlier. After effect, move the target 4 squares towards the town pond, but because our weakness is, Umbrello's weakness is triggered, we can only move 1, we only get pushed 1 square, so we just get pushed essentially over here. Target's rump is soaked. If the target is wearing leg gear, it is unequipped. We do not have any leg gear. We actually have our boot on top of our head with boot toppers, so not a bad turn at all. So that was Georgie's turn, because that was the breaking point action. So now it's Granny's turn, and our gun is reloaded for this turn, so we can actually go here and shoot across the river. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are, actually we can go here, so we're 5 spaces away, which means we maximize our far-sighted ability. Again, because of the +5 accuracy, we have +3, and our Rudy Tutor is gonna be hitting on a 3 or higher. That is a 2. Feels bad. Feels bad, man. All right, well that shot the Rudy Tutor. Has to reload for next turn. And we'll just move back. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can move here. Just to make room, because I know Umbrello can potentially teleport to the Wishing Well. All right, well, Umbrello's turn. Oppressive winds, all townsfolk. The wind forms a musty boot that kicks each townsfolk in their keister. All townsfolk are pushed 3 squares towards the town pond, but because of weakness, we only all move 1 space towards the town pond. You can see how useful the weakness is in this fight. It's actually one of the more effective weaknesses. And play the next card in the action deck. Engulfing Umbrella, all townsfolk within 3 squares. Oof, that is Georgie and Quintus. All targets take 1 damage. Oh, I know what this card is. This card is bad. Any townsfolk that took damage from this action is caught inside Umbrello and removed from the board. Until Umbrello's next turn, any damage dealt to him is also dealt to those removed by this ability. Return those townsfolk to the board adjacent to Umbrello at the start of Umbrello's next action. So we essentially miss a whole turn, and we can't essentially attack him unless we don't want to do 1 damage to Georgie and Quintus. So we'll just lay them down for now just to signify that, just so I don't forget where they are. Well, Granny's turn next. Granny can't really shoot Umbrello without screwing him over. So I think we're just gonna go back over here. We'll spend the 2 coins and we'll use the Wishing Well. And we're looking for either 4 to 7 as a heal, because Granny is injured, or an 8 or higher. That's a natural 1, so we just paid for nothing. Cool. All right, well that is it. So at the start of Umbrello's turn, Quintus and Georgie come back, and Umbrello gets to go. Hooked Handle, closest townsfolk is gonna be Quintus. Move towards target. If it reaches him, deal 1 damage. Quintus is down to 1. The target is seeing stars. They are flung 6 squares towards the town pond, but because weakness, we only go 1. And must lower their accuracy by 1. Oh, that's really, really bad. Quintus might go down here. Remember when I said this fight's relatively easy? I miss those days. All right, well, we don't have enough coins to swap positions with Granny and use the Wishing Well. So I think we're just gonna try and hit with the Mugger's Bat, because that's all we can really do. It's 2 Moxie, we need a 7 or higher because we have -1 accuracy now. That's a 6. We would have hit if we didn't have that -1 accuracy. And then let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, try to get away from there. All right, it's gonna be Georgie's turn. So Georgie is gonna go 1, 2, 3. And we are gonna swing with our dad's head hammer, looking for a 5 or higher. That's a 7, that's a successful hit, so that's 2 damage. It does end Georgie's turn, and the last breaking point is triggered. Heavy flooding, no target. Each townsfolk within 4 squares of the town pond takes 1 damage. And that is exactly where Quintus is. Well, rip Quintus. That sucks. Move Umbrello towards the Wishing Well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, it's all up to Granny and Georgie. It's Granny's turn. So Granny can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go there. She can actually shoot with her Rudy Tutor this turn. So we're 5 squares away. Again, we're hitting on a 3 or higher with this, thanks to our far-sighted ability. That's a 6. That's a successful hit. So it's 2 damage. He's down to 2. And that's gonna essentially be Granny's turn. So it is gonna be Umbrello's turn next. Wind Gust. Umbrello spins round and round, forming a wall of wind. All townsfolk within 3 squares, that's nobody. All targets take 1 damage and are pushed 5 squares towards the town pond, then move towards the furthest townsfolk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So that is going to be Granny. 1. Let's push Quintus's dead body out of the way. 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that's good because right beside the dynamite and also right beside the hive, it is going to be Georgie's turn. Well, we could just blow him up. It would also kill Granny. Oh, I actually would have achieved Lucky Aura with Granny. Whoopsie. Which is if any townsfolk roll 5 or higher on a town event or a ruffian action, achieve this feat, because Georgie rolled high enough to do Spearhead Parasol, the weakness. So we'll actually get 2 coins for that. I could get extra accuracy, but we don't really need it too much. Don't think any of this is applicable. All right. Yeah, so Georgie, I mean, we could, I mean, I think we just do that to end the turn, unfortunately. Well, although we could have Granny hit with the sure shot crossbow. I mean, as long as we don't hit a 1, we do 1 damage, and then at the start of Umbrello's turn, he takes the last point of damage for Buzzing Hive. So yeah, we'll just go 1, 2. I guess it depends on what we want, who we want to potentially get the unique item. That's tough because they both have their melee weapons slots filled up. And then we'll use our quick trotter ability to go for up to here. So it must be exactly 4 squares. Maybe we can't actually do that. Yeah, maybe we can't actually do that. Because maybe you aren't able to do that unless you can actually move the 4 squares. So that actually, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. We can actually use our quick trotter ability to go 4 here and then 1, 2, 3, and then spend our spend 3 Moxie to use our Dad's Head Hammer. We need 5 or higher. That's a 2. That's gonna be a miss. Okay. Well, it's gonna be Granny's turn. So Granny is just gonna back up and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, we have to go here. Actually, no, we can go here. Oh, it doesn't change anything, actually. So we'll just stay there. And then we'll use our sure shot crossbow. We have range of 4. It's a 1 or higher that we need to actually hit, but we have -2, but because we are 1, 2, 3, 4 squares away, we have +2. So yeah, anything but a 1. That's a 6. That's 1 damage. And then it's Umbrello's turn, but Umbrello does start adjacent to the Buzzing Hive. So Umbrello takes the last point of damage and is stung by bees. And that is going to be the end of the first fight. So I was actually sort of worried there. I don't normally have a townsfolk die in the first fight, but hey, it's the first time for everything. Quintus unfortunately never hit with the Mugger's Bat, so we actually never got any coins on it. Sturdy and simple, complete a fight with a starting weapon, equipped the entire time. That is going to be achieved. He unfortunately did not get any critical hit, so we get 3 coins for sturdy and simple. Granny got careful planning, which is complete a fight without changing your equipped gear. So we actually get 4 coins for that. That's a pretty hefty reward. And unfortunately, Georgie did not get anything for that. However, everyone does receive their 6 coins for beating the ruffian. All right, that is a successful fight. Granny is super loaded, so hopefully there's some good items for her. And everyone actually has a decent amount of money. Quintus is back up to his starting value. Same with Georgie. So we're in a pretty decent spot to buy some stuff. And plus we actually have some pretty decent gear already. So I think what we just want to do is maybe try to get some better movement or Moxie with Granny, because it would be nice to get 1 more Moxie with Granny so we can actually shoot with the Rudy Tutor and the sure shot crossbow in the same turn. If we want to get more Moxie with Quintus, that's always good because that allows us to use our trickster ability and swing with our weapon. And Georgie, I think, is mainly just looking for more health and potentially more movement as well, because I think him being mobile is actually really, really useful. So I'll reset the starting values later. However, we do have 2 people who have 2 feats of metal completed, so it's actually going to be a tie for whoever gets the ruffian gear. So it is going to be a roll off. So Granny is going to get a 3. Quintus gets a 4. So, oh, sorry, Quintus actually is not eligible because Quintus actually got knocked out. So Granny gets the ruffian gear. So for the ruffian gear, we have the Rainmaker, the Breezy Cape, and the Springy Wand as our possible options, which are right here. And the Springy Wand actually would not be the worst thing in the world because it is a ranged one-hander, so we could actually use it to replace something. But we're gonna give these a little shuffle underneath the table. So yeah, that wasn't too bad of a fight. It's funny, out of the 2 games I've played off the Tabletop Simulator demo, I've actually fought Umbrello both times. Seems like I can't get away from Umbrello, which sucks because I want to experience the new ruffians that weren't in the Tabletop Simulator demo, but it's perfectly fine. It's nice to have a fight where you sort of know the idea and you can play around things a little bit, even though I totally ran into Quintus dying. For some reason in my head, I was like, oh, he should be maybe far enough for like 3 squares away. I forgot that there are 4 and 5 square abilities that interact with the town pond. So we shuffled, we're gonna pick the top card, and we got the Springy Wand. So it's a one-handed ranged wand, which has 4 range, so the same range as our sure shot crossbow. It's only 1 moxie to use, it's 4+ accuracy, 1 damage, and we can also spend 1 moxie to move any townsfolk up to 10 squares once per fight. So, what is the most effective combination of stuff? I mean, if we equip the Springy Wand over the rather than use the sure shot crossbow, sort of sucks because we just bought this, but we would be able to use the Rudy Tutor and the Springy Wand in the same turn. And if we do have the extra bonus to accuracy, we get +2 if we're at our max range. So we're hitting on a 2 or higher, which anything but a 1, which is the same as the sure shot crossbow anyways. So I think we might, plus we just get the benefit of having the extra ability to move someone once per fight. So I think we will end up replacing this and selling this for 5 coins because we will have a lot of money to spend. So maybe we can just kit out the rest of Granny. Granny's gonna be stacked potentially next turn, depending on if we get lucky enough. But anyways, that is gonna do it for the first fight. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was sort of bearable in terms of how things played out. Again, it would be nice to have like the perfect recording setup, but I think this is all right. I think you can see things relatively well, and hopefully my commentary's not too terrible, and hopefully I didn't get anything too incorrect with rules. I do try to do my best in terms of rules, but especially when it comes to if we happen to fight a ruffian that I haven't fought before in the Tabletop Simulator demo, I might get things incorrect. I do apologize ahead of time if that happens, but regardless, we're gonna be back with the second fight at the hooligan level for our next video, so hopefully you stick around for that. If you did enjoy this video, definitely give a like and a subscription. You know the drill when it comes down to that stuff, and hopefully, yeah, we'll see you for the next one. Thank you so much for everyone who's been watching all my videos, and again, big shout out to Panic Girl for actually shouting out my introduction to Tabletop Simulator on their latest Kickstarter update. They've been super helpful with answering some of my questions and helping with the video editing and stuff like that, with giving me the pictures of the cards and stuff like that. So been super awesome to work with them, and I just can't wait to keep making more Townsfolk Tussle content. So I'm gonna end the video here. We'll be back with the next fight, and I will see you then.